Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Got some really interesting XRP related news for you. We've got the creator of the XRP tip bot, Wheats and Wind, his company, XRPL Labs, getting funded by Ripple. Awesome development. We've got the XRP community under attack by bots on Twitter. Ridiculous. And those are just a couple of things I'm going to cover today. Before we get moving here, if you would, please hit that thumbs up, give me a like. And if you don't hate everything that I say completely, would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. Definitely really appreciate all the support I get on the channel. All right, first thing here, this is real cool. Came across this scrolling through my Twitter newsfeed. This post by Vanessa Pestrito, who I hadn't heard today. I just followed her as of today, but she is the director of Xpring at Ripple, with Xpring being the arm of Ripple that funds businesses that have new use cases to utilize XRP. And they typically incorporate Interledger Protocol in somewhere, at least they can anyway. So it's those two things. Those are the big ones. Anyway, and so here's the tweet. Thrilled to announce Xpring's investment in Wheats and Wind, at Wheats and Wind, XRPL Labs. And then there's a piece about it here, which I'm going to pull up and just read a small part of. Titled Investing in Wheats and Wind's XRPL Labs. Wheatson is a leader in the XRP community where he is dedicated personal time and resources to building projects and developer tools, contributing to the XRP community blog, and educating developers at local meetups. Wheatson is a proven entrepreneur and has successfully grown his companies organically. He has built a technology consulting company which serves numerous clients ranging from larger scale companies to smaller offices. He's also built and ran a software company that provided a platform as a service for rapid web development. And it goes on from there. So, very, very worthwhile to know. Ripple is not kidding about developing the healthy and fostering a healthy XRP ecosystem. They prove it time and time again. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're helping startups getting the ball rolling so that they can develop on the XRP ledger, because they understand that if other companies do well with separate use cases outside of what Ripple is seeking to purpose XRP for, which is a bridge currency for cross-border payments, they understand that if XRP does well outside of that, it's just going to, over time, increase the value, and that's good for them as well. So this is an incredibly intelligent business model in my mind, and it's really cool to see. And here we go. Yeah, so here's the XRPL Labs website. It says, hello, we are Tristan, Ellie, and Wheatson. We work together full-time to develop applications for the XRP ledger. And by the way, the only reason I know how to properly pronounce Wheatson is because I heard him say it himself in an interview a couple months back. So I'm confident I'm saying Wheatson correct. But it's not a common name in the United States where I live, so I'm glad I had heard that before, because otherwise I'd definitely be butchering that. But anyway, so it's cool to see. So here's a few of the projects that they're working on. They got a signing platform app. Interact with the XRP ledger from your smartphone, iOS or Android. Sign transactions and keep your XRP safe by allowing third-party applications to send sign requests to your mobile device. Got a decentralized exchange user interface. And I actually mentioned this the other day, well, part of this, not specifically XRPL Labs, but I happened to mention that there is a built-in decentralized exchange on the XRP ledger, which most people don't realize, and they're developing a user interface for it. Very cool stuff. I'd love to see what that looks like. And lastly, we got Cold Storage OS, 100% air-gapped. Get yourself a cheap laptop and install our Linux-based XRPL Cold Storage OS. Store your key pairs and secrets safe and encrypted, and compose and sign transactions offline and submit your transactions air-gapped. This is awesome. And, you know, Ripple's not just going to give money to anybody that says they're developing on the XRP ledger. Just to be clear, they go through a fairly intense vetting process, and they made that crystal clear. Otherwise, everybody, you know, they'd just be going for a money grab. So you have to have a solid business plan and all of the other attributes that, frankly, you'd think they probably require of their own hires, so it's probably quite the interview process, I would imagine. I don't know that Wheatson has talked about that, but it would be interesting if he ever opens up to what the process is like. I'd really love to hear about that, and if he does, I'll report about it on the channel here. But just want to make clear, they're not just throwing money at anybody, okay? this is cool stuff. So if they're investing in his company, they think this is something special. That's important. And again, like I said at the beginning of the video, creator of the XRP tip bot, which everybody in the XRP community, if you're on Twitter, everybody uses it, right? Cool stuff. So from a positive story to a negative story, a sad one here. This is from ambcrypto.com, titled, XRP FUD. Multiple Twitter bots found manipulating XRP investors by claiming tokens dev team has quit. And they're at it again. Why does this have to keep happening here? Apparently there's just a crazy amount of bots, and so with them being bots, presumably they're either entirely automated or almost entirely automated, but they're sending out, here's an example of one such tweet from one of these bots, just sent to somebody that apparently is clearly an active participant within the XRP community on Twitter. And it states, "Hey, I recently saw you follow Ripple on Twitter. If you want to buy XRP, it's a big no-no." God. How can you not take investment advice from somebody that calls it a no-no? All right. "It's been known the dev team had already abandoned the project for another one." Oh my God, that makes no sense. It's kind of funny only to me because I know how stupid this is. But this, if somebody's lesser informed, who knows? Who knows? It's either way, it's not good for Ripple and the XRP community. That's quite clear. But look at these. I got these on screen here. I'm not going to read all these out to you, but there's just one after the other, and there's just this team of bots. And somebody else I saw on Twitter posted they put together a little collage of a bunch of the images. It's just screen captures of these tweets from these bots on Twitter, and like put them all together into one. I was like, oh my God, it's like all almost exactly the same message. Oh my God, the dev teams quit, this and that. It's all sorts of silly nonsense. And so then you might think, okay, well, that's stupid and dumb, and it will over time prove ineffective, of course. I mean, come on. Because what do you think the smart money's going to do? Best case scenario for whoever is doing this, if they were really effective in the short term, in theory, it makes the price drop. Yeah, well, that's not even happening either. So, who's doing this and why? Don't know who. Definitely don't know who. But isn't it clear that they're feeling threatened by XRP, just the existence of the XRP ledger in general, and perhaps what Ripple's doing to position it? And, are these Bitcoin maximalists? And it makes me think, I'm not going to get into it again because I had like a whole almost 30-minute video about the ridiculousness of the battle in quotation marks between people in the XRP community and the Bitcoin maximalists. And the bottom line is, just to sum it up, if you're in the XRP community, you're not here because of ideology. Ideology didn't bring you here. You're here, if you're like me at least, because you think that XRP, not financial advice, but you probably think that XRP is a sound investment. As risky and volatile as crypto is, you did your research and you found that there are actual businesses behind this. There's actual use cases. It's actually being used today for multiple use cases. And you thought, oh wow. And we're at the very beginning. We were in a situation where there's a tiny total market cap for this entire asset class of somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 billion, whatever the heck it is today. And you're like, wow, might have really found something here. That's how I feel anyway, right? And so we're coming from a place of, this is neat, I think it could really go somewhere. Whereas the Bitcoin maximalists, what are they doing? Oh my God, they think that Bitcoin is the end-all, be-all. That is it, and anything that's not Bitcoin, or if it supports the bank specifically, that's the biggest no-no, if I could use the term no-no in this video. If it's in any way going to help the banks, because as we all know, faster settlement times for banks. Pure evil. Absolutely, right? And so it's all absurdity, but you don't see this type of activity. Like, who from the XRP community would even want to waste their time trying to drag down any other cryptocurrency? Nobody's doing that. Yet here on the flip side, who's attacking XRP? Well, in this specific case, don't know, but somebody got a bunch of bots out there because that was a good use of their time, they thought. So it's fascinating. So I just wanted to point this out, laugh at it, just be aware of it, and it's just one of those things in life, guys. Just one of those things. All right, next. This piece is from CoinDesk. Japan's biggest bank launching blockchain payments network in 2020. And I read this, and it doesn't say anything about XRP. It doesn't say anything about Ripple, but I'm familiar with this bank, MUFG. It's Japan's largest bank. And this piece says that it's the world's 5th largest bank. I read another one, might be in one of the other tabs I have open here, that said it's the 3rd largest bank in the world. So anyway, whatever it is, point is, it's up there, right? And so why am I citing this if this doesn't say XRP or Ripple? It's not in there. Well, let me read you one piece, then I'll explain. If I could find the pertinent piece real quickly. Maybe this is it. Called... Okay, the firm announced Tuesday that it has formed a joint venture with U.S.-based fintech firm Akamai? I don't know. Technologies to develop the platform by the first half of 2020, and it's a blockchain-based payments network. Okay, so I'm just trying to put some pieces together here. That's all I'm trying to do. And if you guys listening know more than I do about any of this, please put it out there because I'd love to cover it in a future video. But I remember seeing pieces about MUFG in the last several months, and so I looked up some of them, and they do talk about Ripple. This is from November 13th, 2018. Japan's banking giant MUFG signs MOU, which is Memorandum of Understanding, to develop Ripple-based remittances to Brazil. And that was cool to see. I've talked at length over at least in a number of videos about how really what Ripple is doing right now, and they're in partnership with a lot of other financial entities to make this happen, but they're really laying the tracks. XRP is a bridge currency, but it just like a train can't run if it's just sitting there on a dirt ground. XRP can't work if the tracks aren't laid. And what are the tracks? We're talking about largely, XRP, Xcurrent and Xrapid being implemented, which, of course, Xrapid using XRP as a bridge currency. I haven't seen a lot of specifics on what this is here, but I can tell you that they lauded Ripple's technology here. Let me see if I can find the pertinent piece here by quickly highlighting this with Control F. Okay, yeah, so it just says, confirming the two parties had signed a memorandum of understanding. MUFG reiterated its faith in Ripple technology after joining its global payment steering group in March of last year. And there's a quote here. The new payment system will assist the banks as they work toward commercializing a high-speed, transparent, and traceable cross-border payment solution between Japan and Brazil, the press release states. Now, given that we've already talked about how the tracks are being laid so that XRP can be used as a bridge currency, we've talked about what that looks like, facilitating transactions through a remittance corridor, and we talked about using liquidity on exchanges, partner exchanges, Ripple partner exchanges, Xrapid powered, to help facilitate those transactions. Now, what I don't have here is information about what they're doing to speed up, MUFG here, specifically if it's not including Xcurrent and Xrapid. So I want details on that. If you guys have heard anything, let me know, because as far as my channel goes, I'm going to share with you everything I know, and I can always use assistance because I don't know everything. I want to, so that's in part why I'm doing this, and it's a really fun hobby for me. But given that they've cited their faith in Ripple's technology, it's got to be associated somehow. So then that's why when I saw this other piece today, this one here, about them launching their blockchain payments network, I was like, well, there's not a lot of specifics here. And I actually clicked on I don't have it open here, but I did read their official press release from yesterday. And there's not a whole lot of detail. It's even less information somehow than what's in the CoinDesk report. You tell me how that happens. Anyway, so then I had this open, and this is just a little document here from Ripple.com, citing MUFG joining Ripple's Global Payments Steering Group. So there you go. I mean, that's cool. But anyway, I'm just letting you know this is on my radar, and there will be more publicized in the future, no doubt. We're just learning little bit by little bit. So as I learn more, I'm going to keep relaying that to you. So that's the reason I want to point this out. It's just one of those things tuck away in the back of your head, but I always get excited about the launch of new corridors, in particular when Ripple announces that they've got their Xcurrent and Xrapid technology in place, and when we have new partner exchanges that are powered by Xrapid. So that's the reason I want to make you guys aware of that. All right, that's probably enough on that. I don't need to read this. Next piece. This was really interesting to me. Not XRP related, although it'll tie in, I guess, technically, at some point, right? Here's the headline from CoinDesk. Coinbase wallet to feature private key backup on Google Drive, iCloud. And as soon as I read that, I thought, Oh my God, there's a potential for a train wreck. Hopefully nothing bad happens, but I mean, how many, this is silly that this, like, I don't follow pop culture, like, in terms of actors and actresses in Hollywood and all that stuff, but you know what popped in my mind is, like, celebrities' phones being hacked and they're backing stuff up to the cloud, and then you got nudie pics out there. I know it's ridiculous, but I'm just saying, like, that's happening, and let's put our private keys on there. Okay, all right. So that's the first thing that just about that entered my mind. Now, that being said, it's going to be better in theory, assuming this actually works. But here, let me read this little piece here. The backup feature is encrypted with AES-256-GCM, which means nothing to me, encryption, and accessible only by the Coinbase Wallet mobile app, Coinbase said. It can only be decrypted using the password. The exchange further said that neither it nor cloud service providers would be able to access the user's passwords or funds at any time, as passwords would be in the sole possession of users. Okay, well, if that's true, that's good, assuming the technology actually works. But you know what I'm going to keep doing instead of using this? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, and I'm just going to keep burying all of my private keys in the backyard just like he buries his gold. I'm just going to keep... I'm kidding, guys. There's somebody out there who probably thinks I'm serious, burying my freaking private keys in the backyard, digging dirt up with a shovel. But if this works, this is a good advancement because all it's going to do is make it that more likely that an end user is going to participate in the crypto asset class. It should make it that much easier and, in theory, more secure. I still want to see more entities such as banks that... take on the responsibility of custodianship, holding crypto for retail users and hell, institutional investors too. Anybody that wants to, as long as they're properly insured, federally insured. And I know some people want to argue, especially Bitcoin maximalists. Well, it's not your Bitcoin if you don't have your private keys or this and that. Well, there's got to be a way to work out something, and I still think it's reasonable, unless you really are that anti-government, like for instance the U.S., if it's like a checking account. If I have money in my checking account, it's federally insured. If we can have something similar to where we have a bank holding crypto and it's federally insured, if it's somehow hacked or this or that, I don't have a huge problem with that if people want to do it. And if some people prefer to just keep their private keys, or you want to bury it in your backyard, bury private keys in your backyard like you're Ron Swanson or something, that's fine too. Whatever, to each their own. I like that, the idea of being able to choose between one or the other, or you could do both. What the heck? Why not? I like the freedom associated with that. All right? So anyway, it's a neat thing. I hadn't heard anything like this before, so I found it fascinating and want to share it with you. All right, next, this is also from CoinDesk. NASDAQ to add Bitcoin and Ethereum indices to global data service. The reason that I'm highlighting this, not a lot to say on this. It's not some mind-blowing thing, but it's cool because, obviously, it's NASDAQ, household name, right? And I tell you what, don't forget, if you've bought Bitcoin or you've bought XRP, you've bought any cryptocurrencies, you fell for the biggest scam in history. You fell for what became the biggest bubble in the history of mankind. Well, I guess NASDAQ fell for it too then, because they're going to be listing, and again, this is just a listing of indices, so pricing as it relates to Bitcoin and Ethereum, respectively. And that's because the crypto asset class is a legitimate asset class, and it is here to stay. And you're going to see more of a blurring of the lines. You're going to see more and more traditional exchanges. They're going to delve more and more into crypto, and eventually on existing exchange, well, they'd have to rebuild it from scratch essentially, but maybe they use the same name. But you're going to see household names, just like NASDAQ. You're going to see them trading cryptocurrencies, and you're going to see, I wouldn't be surprised way down the road. I mean, it's more exciting for the traditional asset class to jump into crypto, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was for some exchanges in particular, some, probably not all, but some will see an incentive if they really want to capture as many clients as possible, as much market share as possible. I could see a world where there are cryptocurrency exchanges that end up delving into more traditional markets, stocks, and so on. And that's something that could be fleshed out over a span of decades, though. That that's more like once crypto is well established, and you're an exchange that's been around for decades. Okay, we're reaching critical mass here. What can we do to get some more customers? That's the type of thing I'm talking about. So that's a really big picture type of thing. Nonetheless, I like seeing this type of adoption. Because everything like this, every little story like this matters. It heads us in the right track. Which leads me to this last piece I'm going to cover today. And this was a fun video. You guys, I'm going to link to everything like I always do in the section below, description below. This is from globalcryptopress.com. Titled, Mike Novogratz admits the 2017 crypto bubble burst was painful, but there's a lot on the horizon to be excited about. And I'm not going to spoil this whole thing for you. I probably talked long enough for one day, but I watched this. It's a little over 6 minutes long, and it's his take on what happened in the run-up leading to 2017, the bubble burst, and where he sees things going over the next 6 to 12 months. And for those of you that don't know, Mike Novogratz is one of the most well-known figures in the crypto space. I think so. He's all over the place. And I think big picture, he gets it. He's a bull, but he's certainly an educated bull. So anyway, and he's the founder and chief executive of Galaxy Digital, so involved in crypto. So anyway, fun little video to watch. He's bullish, and I am too long term. I don't know if we've seen the bottom. I have no idea. I have no interest in making price predictions over a specific period of time. It's fun for me to figure out what's the potential of the cryptocurrency asset class, the potential of individual cryptocurrencies. That's all worthwhile discussion. I just don't like throwing timelines on this stuff and making price predictions. For those that want to, that's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not what I do. I'm more of a big picture type of guy, and I just understand it will unfold at whatever pace it unfolds, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So thanks so much for listening, guys. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Thanks so much for listening.